Hello YouTube. Wanted to shoot a discussion video where I just wanted to talk about really aquarium salt and water changes with Flowerhorns. First I'll talk about aquarium salt. So Flowerhorns tend to have a lot of problems. A lot of people who keep them for the first time, something goes wrong. Their flower horn doesn't act right, isn't acting healthy. And what I always tell people is, one, if you own a flower horn, you should always have aquarium salt on hand. And you should never be afraid to use it. In my experience, they have never reacted poorly to aquarium salt. They have only, had a very good reaction to aquarium salt. And aquarium salt can be used to treat a number of things, but the thing that I use it most for is scrapes. So if you have a male flower horn, he is going to be scraped up. It doesn't matter what kind of setup you have them in. You're probably going to have a heater, filter, something in the tank. They're just so aggressive. They're going to run into things. They're going to get some scrapes on them. Okay? And when they get scrapes, you'll often see their slime coat start to become thick, especially around where where they've been cut or nicked. And aquarium salt just works wonders for healing those wounds, making sure they don't get infected, keeping their slime coat healthy. And so whenever I see a flower horn with scrapes, cuts, or even if they're just not acting right, their appetite's not, very good, they're sluggish, throw in aquarium salt. So like for, these tanks here, for these guys, I throw in about 2 big handfuls of aquarium salt in the tank, and like I said, they have only responded positively to that. So that is something I would never hesitate to do. Don't do a salt bath or anything like that. Salt bath, that, I've done that for fish, and they seem to have a negative response to that. It seems to be very stressful on them. Just put a little bit in the tank itself, and that will clear up a lot of problems, provided there isn't a major underlying issue to the problem, like a very bad bacterial infection, or there's ammonia, your tank's not cycled, ammonia in the water. Obviously, putting salt in the tank is only going to work as a band-aid for that. You're going to need to treat the underlying cause. But for just common problems, lack of appetite, cuts, scrapes, I implore you to use aquarium salt. The second thing I wanted to touch on was water changes. There's a lot of discussion within the flowerhorn and hybrid cichlid community about water changes. You will often hear people say, just like with discus, they'll recommend daily water changes, or 3 times a week, or 2 times a week, whatever it may be. And keep in mind, a lot of that is going to have to do with the setup you have your flower horn in. A lot of people, they will keep flower horns in small tanks, and they will keep them with very little filtration. A sponge filter, 1 hand on the back filter, canister filter that they don't clean regularly, things like that. And when you have a big fish that produces a lot of bioload in a small tank with not a lot of biological filtration, the water will become polluted very, very quickly. And that's when you are almost required to do frequent water changes. And if you slack on those water changes, the water quality is going to go bad, and your fish is going to start to have problems. So if you want to make things easier on yourselves, get as big of a tank as possible. It doesn't so much have to do with the the space for the fish. Obviously, you don't want it too small, but the more water volume you have, the more, the longer you'll be able to go without doing a water change. Likewise with the biological filtration. So I have tons of biological media in this tank, especially because it's a bare bottom. And so that is keeping not only the ammonia and nitrite gone, which is a requirement, but it also serves to keep the nitrate down. Okay. The last thing I kind of wanted to touch on there is, even despite me having, a larger tank, lots of biological filtration, these fish still really, really, really appreciate water changes. And I'm not sure what it is. It must have something to do with TDS, total dissolved solids, or something. But, if I try to do a water change every week. That's my routine. I do about a 25 to 50% water change once a week. But sometimes I slack off. End up being 10 days, and the fish are fine. But when I do end up doing a water change, almost no matter how often, I'll see that these fish, their color intensifies. They'll get very fired up, very aggressive, and so even though the ammonia is still 0, nitrite is still 0, and nitrates almost stay the same, which is very low. In my tanks, it typically runs between 0 and 10, no more than 10. Even despite that, doing a water change, they will still have a very positive response to that. So water changes are required, but if you set up your tank right, you do not need to be doing water changes every day, 3 times a week, whatever it may be. You can keep it like you would a very low maintenance tank. Just do a little water change, try to do it once a week, and that's fine. Okay. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Obviously, if you've watched this channel for a while, or go to my channel and look back, I've kept my cichlids for years and years and years. So I've had a lot of success kind of with the routines I keep, and I just kind of wanted to share some of my thoughts, and hopefully this helps some of you guys with your flowerhorn ventures. So hope it helped. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I promise I will answer them. Thank you for watching.